up, what up, what up? Chef Dog Millionaire in the house here, episode 20.3 of your 6 Degrees podcast, coming to you from beautiful Philadelphia via our 6 Degrees satellite link. It's week 3, it's upon us, and it is decisive for so many of us. Dropping 0-3, that's a no-go. We've done the stats. It does not look good for your playoff future. Listen, we got a special guest today too, coming to you from the city of Lynchburg. You're the only 10 I see, USA. That's Jason Santor, going to give us a little Q&A. Not only that, we got the U.S. League Cup update. We're out of the qualifying rounds. We're going right into the group stages. We'll talk about that. And at the end, we got a little cookie being thrown your way. Maybe you make a few dollars, maybe you don't, but this is for sure going to test you. We'll see what happens. Anyway, it's a jam-packed show. We got a ton to talk about. There is no time to waste. Let's get right into it. All right, guys, let's get into our week 2 review. Let's see what happened last week. We already know what the outcome's on. Let's dig a little bit deeper and see what's going on. So we had Sensemann, the German Grim Reaper's Burst, greatest of all time. And guess what happened? Chef Dog Millionaire goes 0-2. Greatest of all time knocks me out. There were 2 teams last week that struggled in this one. No one was really going to pay attention in this game. But they were going back and forth and back and forth. And it was quite the slugfest. But in the end, Stafford puts up 16. Mahomes puts up 30. And it was just the QBs that really told the tale in this one. That's why you take Mahomes in the second round. And that's why Stafford is off my team. So GOAT takes that one. He moves into the winner's circle. Next matchup, we had Rockies Red Rocket versus Frog. All right, so Frog wins this one in the slimmest of margins, 1.4 points. That's just the foreskin of the win on that one. Lamar versus Murray was a bit of a letdown. You had Lamar getting 17. That's decent, right? But not what you expect out of your first round, first overall QB that gets selected. Kyler Murray drops a big boy, 32 on the day. And unfortunately for Kev, Rojo played second fiddle to Fournette, leaving him with more questions when it comes to his halfback position. Frog gets a decent 24 out of Christian McCaffrey, but guess what? He finds himself on the injury report, slotted in the bench. Injury Mageddon strikes Frog's team. Frog takes that one. Next, we had Women Do It Better versus the Lynchburg Lynx, and this was my lock of the week. And I was wrong on this one. Women Do It Better falls to Lynchburg Lynx. Aaron Jones with a massive 49.6 points. Waller with 29.5. Those 2 players alone are the reason you saw Lynchburg Lynx take that one. And for Kelsey, Prescott did everything he could to try to pull away that victory. But when your 2 halfbacks and your flex position combine for 12.8 points, that's a recipe for a loss. No cake for you. Next, we had TDs versus Bell. Bell wins this one, but not without being bruised. Barkley goes on to the IR. Injury Mageddon strikes Rob's team. Akers is designated as out this week. He's just trying to find different RBs he can plug in. Hell, he made a trade to get there. Alex with a decent 127 that in most weeks would win it, but not this week because Rob's kicker, Rob's wide receivers, they take the win for him. In fact, Rob's kicker scored everybody on Alex's team except one position. Unbelievable. Abolish the kicker. It is ridiculous for a kicker to get that many points. So let's get him out of there. Broken Bell, Saved by the Bell, takes that one and moves himself with the win. Here we go. Hans YOLO versus Lemon Cookie. I can't remember the first half of that one. Hans takes this one in dominating fashion, just as I predicted. And now who's sitting at the top of the table? It's Hans YOLO, baby. 35 points out of Wilson. 38 points out of Kamara. 24 out of Hunt. 25 out of Deontay Johnson. Who cares that Fuller got 0 points? Those are massive scores coming out of those 5 players. That is intense. Not to mention Tracy on her side. She put together a decent day, 127. That is not bad. But when you got teen points coming out of your players going against the number 1 team in our league right now, you need 20s. Teens ain't gonna cut it. So, Lemon Cookie loses in this one. I told you it was gonna happen. Moving on, we had Make America Gronk again against Momo Sherry's team. Mark's team impressed yet again, and I was wrong on this one. I thought Mark would stumble coming into this next week, and that is not true. Mark took down Momo And rightfully so. Momo starts a player with the designation of out on her team. That was listed as of Friday. She had 2 whole days to fix that. She was glamping or whatever the heck she was doing. She did not get to her roster. She did not make the change. She loses this one. A little disappointed in that, but Mark takes the win. It didn't matter who she was going to plug in anyway. 19 points out of Roger. Hop gets 20. Mostart had 20 plus himself, but he gets hurt, and now Mark's scrambling. What's he going to do? Who's he going to find to plug into that RB2 slot? Then we had our matchup of the week, and boy, I told you guys to tune into this one. It was going to be bad. Danny's team did not show up to this matchup. Woo! He barely got himself over 85 points. Not even. Then you look at Chris's team. He got 84 points out of Matt Ryan, Ezekiel Elliott, and Calvin Ridley. Those 3 guys alone just dismantles Danny's team. Danny's team didn't even show up. Julio, who? Right? Julio, who? He wasn't there, right? And you had Todd Gurley. He wasn't there. The only bright spot on Danny's team was Breeze, who got 15. Whoop-de-doo, you got 15 points. That's your number 22 quarterback right now coming in on Danny's team. And who's he playing this week? He's looking to go 0-3. I'll tell you that much. Little preview there. Anyway, that's our Week 2 review. Congratulations to the winners. Bummer for the losers. All right, guys, let's get into our current standings. All right, so starting at the top, we got Hangiolo. He's your number 1. Then you got Make America Great Again. He's number 2. Great Chili Cook-Off. He's number 3. Frog, number 4. Lynchburg Lynx, number 5. Saved by the Bell, 6. And rounding out your top half, that is going to be Kelsey's team with Women Do It Better. Here in the bottom half, you got Show Me Your TDs, the greatest of all times coming in 9th, 2 Apples and a Lemon Cookie coming in 10th, Team Momo Sherry, that's 11th, 12th, you got Rocky's Red Rocket, my team in 13th, and the bottom team, you got Danny's Miles behind you. Miles behind you. And digging a little bit deeper, look at Andy's team, 325 points for. That's a lot of points. Mark just behind him. He's at 310, so real close. Look at Miles behind you. He's averaging less right now, less than 100 points a week. He's having a real hard time putting up points on the board, and unless you're going against Zach's team, you're not going to win. Cookie, look at that, 340 points against. She had to go against Mark's team in round 1. Then she had to go against Andy's team in round 2. People are just scoring against poor little Tracy's team, and she's having some trouble, but we'll see if she can bounce back on this one. And then Lynchburg Lynx, he's sitting 2-0, but with 198 points against. Talk about a cupcake schedule. He's had some pretty easy weeks, and we'll see if he gets the win this week on our Week 3 preview. All right, trade recap. We had 3 trades go down this week, and let's look at them real fast. I was a part of 2 of them. Alex was a part of 2 of them. You had Chris in a deal, and you had Rob in a deal. So here what? First domino that fell. We had Cam Newton on Rob's team getting traded to my team for Devin Singletary. That's a tough one. We'll see who won and who lost in the Q&As on that one, but I needed a quarterback. I was not happy with Stafford. I was not happy with who I had in Bridgewater, so I brought in the guy that's been dominating the first 2 weeks, and let's see if he can continue. Second domino that fell because of that first trade. You're seeing Stafford getting shipped out to Alex's team. Good riddance. I'm bringing in Boston Scott, who is my handcuff to Miles Sanders, right? And I'm also bringing in N'Keal Harry, who even though Alex just picked him up off the waivers not too long ago, he's showing a lot of promise, and guess what? I got the quarterback on that team, and I love that tandem. That tandem's looking really good. Alex then chasing for a second quarterback. Remember, Alex didn't draft a quarterback till the 12th round. He drafted really late with quarterbacks, so he's trying to fix that. He's making some moves, and he's actually moving some of his bench players. These aren't starters that he's moving, but he gets himself Ben Roethlisberger, having to give up Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson, and the only way Chris could have made this deal possible is if he threw in $10 fab to make it happen. So Big Ben, who is at the tail end and the twilight of his career, has some points left in him. In fact, Alex is starting him this week. I'll talk about it more when we get to our Week 3 preview, but we had 3 trades go down. It was a busy week when it comes to the trades. Meanwhile, let's get right into our waiver recap. Like I said, a lot of transactions went down with Injury Mageddon that hit this past week. you knew people were going to be bidding for some players, and that's exactly what happened. Look at this right here. Let's go top up here. Tybal wins Mike Davis. He's a halfback out of Carolina. He's looking to be the number one guy. $58 for Davis. $58. That's over half of her budget she spent on one player. Next closest was Danny Mays with 37. Mark with 35. I threw in 33. Frog and Rob both at 32. Alex 26, and Jason threw in $12, thinking that no one was paying attention to this guy. Look at that, $58. I don't know if she overestimated the guy, but apparently she really needed herself a halfback, and she went and got him. All right, next one we had Dion Lewis. That's going to be the Giants halfback filling in for the injured Saquon Barkley. $37. Little Chef wins that one. Tracy loses by default. She won the first bet, so it didn't matter. She didn't like her drop on that one, so they negated it. Frog throws in 26. Political Rob with 20. Alex 17. Momo with 16. And Kelsey, again, she threw in $5 thinking no one's paying attention. Not in this league. Everybody's paying attention. And then we had our third top pick. We got Kellen Cole, who I ended up winning that one with a $28 bid. I just beat Jason Santor. He threw in $23. Momo with 6. And again, Alex throwing in 3 thinking no one's paying attention. Listen, I started him this Thursday. He got me 10 points. You know, we'll see what happens. I misjudged that game. So, after that, you had Golden Tate going to Alex. That was $17. You had 5 total bids there. Momo takes Dalton Schultz. That's $9. Moving on, we had Indianapolis Colts defense. That's a hot commodity. I just lost by $1 to Zach on that one. Indiana Colts defense, $8. Then you had Jeffrey Wilson, $8. There were 2 bids. Momo takes him there. Justin Herbert, that's quarterback out of the Chargers. Danny takes that one. That's a $4 no contest bid on that one. Andy Slater takes a kicker. He spends $1 on it. Rob takes Baker Mayfield. He spends $1 on it. You had Chargers defense. There were 2 bids on that one, but Momo takes it. She throws $1 that way. Kelsey takes Philadelphia Eagles defense. Good luck with that one. They're looking terrible. Kamish Kev pulls a wide receiver out of Denver, KJ Hamler. Mark goes after Jordan Akins. And then Kamish Kev comes right back to get Cincinnati Bengals tight end Drew Sample. That's a $0 bid, and I'm pretty sure he dropped him already. Anyway, those are your waiver wire pickups, and we had our first $50 bomb. Again, Tracy drops 58 on Mike Davis, Carolina halfback. All right, guys, we're here with our special segment. Like I said at the top of the show, we're going to bring in the man, Jason Santor, manager of our Lynchburg Lynx team here in the 6 Degrees League. We got a little Q&A going back and forth here. So, Jason, appreciate you getting on the pod. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Let's get your insight. Let's not take forever, but let's get down and dirty. All right, here we go, Jason. You got it?
Excited to be part of the podcast.
Great. All right, here we go. Obviously, Andy is surprising us this year with his stout team after 2 weeks. Pretty good team, right? But who is your snake in the grass team that we should all keep an eye on? Your team aside.
I think the snake in the grass is. Obviously, Andy has had a tremendous start to the season, being 2-0, really just outperforming everyone the first 2 weeks. In my snake in the grass, though, not counting my team, and I'm not going to count my team because I am a lucky 2-0 after that first week, and that's sneaking out that victory over Zach, and then last week really just taking care of Kelsey. But my snake in the grass, who is also 2-0, but I don't think they've reached their potential yet, is Mark Matroni. His team is just stacked, I believe. I think he has Aaron Rodgers there, who's on a mission this year. After they drafted the quarterback, he has something to prove, like Alex said in the pod last week. Joe Mixon, great season last year, really hasn't done much this year at all, but he will start to pick up, especially with Burrow starting to play well. His other running back with Mostert and Wilson, I like that pickup for Wilson because it gives him some flexibility as Mostert gets healthy. So I think that will end up being a great pickup. And then his wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, I do not see him going down. I see him increasing. I see Juju Smith-Schuster only getting better. His one weakness is tight end, but if he's able to overcome that week in, week out, I think that he is in a great position to be successful and at the top of the league come week 13.
All right, I see Mark's team. I mean, he's already at the top. He's not really a snake in the grass, but he's a team we're going to keep our eye on, that's for sure. Already took down a couple teams here. So here we go. Next one. 3 trades went down in quick succession. I had 2 deals. Alex had 2 deals. Chris and Rob both with 1. What's your takeaway, and who is the winner?
Starting with Alex and Little Sheffy. Alex gets Big Ben. Little Sheffy gets Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey. I love this trade for Alex. He gets Big Ben, who is out to prove himself after an injury-riddled season, where he said he came back only for his teammates. So I feel that he, again, like Aaron Rodgers, is out to prove something and show that he still can play. Jeffrey cannot stay healthy. I don't think Alshon Jeffrey's been healthy since their Super Bowl run. And Deshaun Jackson, he's only had 2 seasons out of the last 8 where he has played 16 games. Last year, he only played 2. He played 12 the year before. His 33-year-old body is just beaten up. And Carson Wentz, we know he can't get him the ball right now. Carson Wentz looks like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. He'll be out of Philadelphia before you know it. So I really think those wide receivers in Philadelphia aren't going to have a good season, and Alex wins this trade. The next one I see is between Alex and Big Sheffy. Alex gets Stafford, Sheffy gets Boston Scott and N'Keal Harry. Again, I think Alex is doubling down. He is giving himself the option to have 2 good quarterbacks every week to choose from based on matchups. So he could put Stafford in, he could put Big Ben in. It's really helping him a lot compared to having Phillip Rivers for the first 2 weeks. Sheffy gets Boston Scott, who who is not going to have a great season. Miles Sanders is taking the bulk of the carries, and I really think Scott's role is really going to diminish on the Eagles with Sanders staying healthy. The wild card here is N'Keal Harry. Alex really picked him off waivers a week or so ago after Mark dropped him and really traded him for Stafford. So I think Alex is making a great move there. But N'Keal Harry, as long as Cam Newton stays healthy and hot, I really think he's going to be spreading it out between Edelman and N'Keal Harry, so he can have a great season. So it's really depending on Cam Newton, N'Keal Harry's success. But right now, I think Alex wins this trade as well. Last trade is Big Sheffy and Robbie. So Sheffy gets Cam, Robbie gets Singletary. So some stats. Singletary has 4 touchdowns last year and rushed for 6.17 yards per carry. He's down to 4.45 yards per carry this year. Only ran the ball 19 times and has no touchdowns, catching or receiving. He's a threat catching the ball with 7 catches this year already. But again, if he's not scoring touchdowns, he's not getting points. So I'm not really sure on Singletary yet. Cam's had 2 great games. There's no doubt about that. But I do not think he can keep it up. He has 4 rushing touchdowns in 2 games and 120 yards rushing. He will not be able to sustain that. And if he does, he will be in a wheelchair by week 5. Mark my words. He will be hurt. His legs will be gone. And he's only thrown 1 interception this year. That's not the Cam Newton we know, who averages almost 13.5 interceptions a year in his career. So I think his interceptions are going to go up, his rushing yards are going to go down, and his fantasy value is going to go down as well. So this one, it's a toss-up. I really think both teams are getting help for what they need, but come week 5, come week 6, they're going to realize they have guys that are going to be on their bench.
Wow. Really? Some big-time fighting words coming your way, Jay. All right, so let's do some quick hits here, all right? We're going to go real quick, and let's see what we got here. So, who doesn't belong in the top 3? I'm going to give you quarterbacks, halfbacks, wide receivers. Who doesn't belong in the top 3? We got Russell Wilson, who's on Andy's team, Josh Allen on Rob's team, and Cam Newton on my team.
Of those 3 quarterbacks, which one does not belong? Easy for me. Cam Newton does not belong in the top 3. For every reason I mentioned above. His numbers are going to go down. His numbers of rushing, his interceptions are going to go up. They're going to figure him out in the AFC, and he is not going to have the success that he's had in 2 games. Josh Allen is going to continue to be a rock star for the Bills, as well as Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson will be he'll be a top 3 MVP go vote getter this year, in my opinion. He just has a lot of weapons. They have a good run game there, a good defense. So he's gonna put up some numbers in Seattle.
Really? You're crazy. No, it's Josh Allen. Unbelievable. All right. So here's halfbacks: Aaron Jones on your team, Alvin Kamara on Andy's team, Ezekiel Elliott on Chris's team. Fortunately, CMC's hurt, so he's not in the top 3 right now.
All right, of those 3 running backs, the running back that I believe that does not belong at the end of the year in the top 3 is Alvin Kamara. And the reason I say Alvin Kamara is he has caught 14 balls in 146 yards through 2 games. I believe a lot of that is due to the Michael Thomas injury. The Michael Thomas injury week 1, they didn't. The game plan was against defending Michael Thomas. Kamara got points. He's gonna get points. But week 2, the Raiders didn't really know what to do. You could see that Kamara put up tons of catching yards and put up almost 40 fantasy points. Now that I think teams know that Michael Thomas is out, I think they're going to be able to game plan against Kamara. And we know Breeze can't throw over 5 yards, so they're going to be able to shadow Kamara. And I think his fantasy value only goes down as long as Michael Thomas is hurt. If Michael Thomas gets back healthy and they have to game plan around him, I see Kamara's value going up. But until then, I think Kamara is going to go down.
Interesting. All right. Okay, here's wide receivers. Ready? Calvin Ridley on Chris's team, DeAndre Hopkins on Mark's team, Devontae Adams on Kelsey's team.
Receivers. But if I had to pick one of them to have production go down, I would pick Calvin Ridley. Yes, he's had 2 awesome games so far, but let's see him match up against the Bears defense this week. And let's see him match up against the number 1 cornerback, since Julio Jones is battling that hamstring injury and might not play. So put a number 1 on him, and I think his numbers go down. The one benefit of Ridley is I feel the Falcons are going to be trailing by a lot of points this year. So it's going to force Matt Ryan and that offense to continue to throw and play catch up. So on a consistency basis, I see Ridley's numbers going down. Maybe he'll have some big games here and there as there's a shootout. But there is no way DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams are leaving the top 3.
Oh, wow. I also see some regression there, but if Julio's going to be hurt, he might be the main target guy, and I think he's not Mohamed Sanu. I think he's someone that's going to be a little bit better. So, you know what, Jason? I appreciate the Q&A section. Thanks for jumping on the pod, and so thanks, man.
And that's it. So this week, I wish everyone luck. I think we're going to have another great fantasy football week, and I feel sorry for whoever's playing me. Good luck.
All right, guys, that's Q&A with Jason. Really appreciate him getting on the pod here. Love the insight. So that's Q&A. All right, guys, let's get into our week 3 preview. All right, so last week, I went 4-3. I was over 500 on that one. I'll take 4 wins, 3 losses all day, baby. But on the season, I'm looking 6-8. So these are the picks this week. I'm going to ace them. I'm going to take myself over 500 on the year with my picks. I've done it once before. I'll do it again. All right. And on top of that, there was $20 bounty if you guys could pick the right winners in our matchups last week. And you guys couldn't do it. Look at that. Alex didn't get it. Appreciate it. Jason couldn't get it. Kevin couldn't get it. Kelsey couldn't get it. Tracy couldn't get it. Mark couldn't get it. Chris couldn't get it. You guys tried to pick the winners, and it didn't work out. That was for $20. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take another $10. I'll throw it with that 20. That's $30 this week if you guys can pick the right matchup winners. So that's what we're going to do. All right, $30 for you guys. You pick the right matchup winners. Momo, appreciate your picks already. Here we go. All right, so moving on to our first matchup. Always going to start with mine. It's Sensimon versus Miles ahead of ya. And I'm obviously picking my team in this one. That's just what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to pick my team every single time. So Thursday night didn't really pan out the way I was looking for. But Danny's team's a work in progress, let's be honest. He's got under a 100-point average, like I mentioned before. And his top 3 guys just ain't showing up right now, and I don't think they're going to show up again. Look at Julio Jones. I don't even know who he is anymore. He's not the same guy. Not to mention Breeze is your number 22 quarterback right now, so maybe he'll get 15, 16 points. I brought in Cam Newton. I got some playmakers on my team. I'm going to score some mad points. I'm looking to get over 130 in this one, and I'm going to seal the win. So I like myself in this one. Danny goes 0-3. We'll take Sensimon in this one. Moving on, we got Rocky's Red Rocket versus the Great Chili Cook-Off. Man, this one's going to come down to just that chunk right? It's going to be the wide receiver 2s on the team. It's going to be the tight ends and the flex position. They're both throwing tight ends from Philadelphia right now, which is a laughing stock. That passing game is atrocious. Don't know why Chris traded for those people. So who's going to reign supreme? And then look at that. You got Fournette versus Gallup. I really like that matchup in the flex spot. And then Laviska Shenault versus Deshaun Jackson. Now, Laviska got 8 points. Deshaun usually getting about 8, so we'll see what happens there. Everyone else in their lineup matches up pretty good, so it's pretty much just those guys. I think that's where you're going to see the matchup here. And I believe Ridley's going to regress, and you're going to see Lamar Jackson and Kenny G explode for mega points. So I like Rocky's Red Rocket in this one. He's going to take it. Great Chili Cook-Off gets the loss. Moving on. Women do it better versus the greatest of all times. And man, that was a heck of a head start on Thursday night, right? Zach's team's getting 30 points out of one position. It was in his flex position. You should have moved him to the starting spot anyway. He gets 30 points. But we've seen this before. He did that week 1 when he got massive amount of points, and it didn't really work out for him. So, Zach getting a good head start, 30 points. Meanwhile, on Kelsey's team, she's lacking some support, right? Hines, Boyd, Sanders. I just don't feel good. 1, I don't like their matchups, and 2, I don't like their consistently. Let me give you this for example. Hines, week 1, he gets 29 points, right? Looking to follow that up week 2? Didn't happen. He got 3 points in week 2. Meanwhile, Zach's team is a strong team if they decide to show up, if they decide to perform like they did the previous week when he took me down. And I think they're going to show up. So I like greatest of all times in this one, and it's going to be by a lot. So I'm sorry, Kelsey, you're losing this one. All right, moving on. Show me your TDs versus 2 apples and a lemon cookie. Listen, Alex made 2 roster moves in this one. He's trying to bring in a quarterback. He knows his quarterbacks suck. He brings in Roethlisberger, he plugs him right in, right? And who's Roethlisberger playing? Houston. Tracy's team. You got Watson, who's looking to find someone to catch a ball, for God's sake. He's throwing it all over the field. Can someone catch it? Maybe Fuller? I don't know. Who's he going against? The Steelers. So look at that. You got a positional team matchup going against each other. That's an alert right there. That's going to be a big game. They're both needing big points out of that position. Alex definitely does. Tracy, she needs it too. But with the consistent team performance that Tracy's been averaging, right, she's going against the top 2 teams in the league so far, and she's fought. She hasn't laid down. That's why I like her in this one. She's going to take down Alex. He's not ready to go against a team like this, so he takes the loss, and Cookie gets her first win. That's my lock of the week. Book that one. That's my lock of the week. All right, moving on. Hanjolo versus Momo. Momo's in for a tough week. She really is. Hanjolo looking to be, is the number 1 team in our league right now. Rightfully so. He's putting up major points, 325 points. That is freaking crazy. So he's pumping on all cylinders. Meanwhile, Momo's team struggling to get out of second gear. And if she decides to play someone with the designation of out, she's not going to win again. So maybe she'll make the right moves this week. But on Andy's team, if there was going to be an upset this week, it's going to be this week, right? If there was going to be an upset, it would be this week. Andy's matchups are red all the way down. They don't look good on Andy's team. But it doesn't matter. He's the number 1 team. There's no way Momo takes down Andy in this one. This is a for sure win. This is my number 2 lock of the week. This is Andy taking down Momo. Sorry, Momo, you don't got a chance. Moving on to the next game. We have Saved by the Bell versus Frog. Listen, we all saw what happened to Rob's team. He is bringing in some RBs. He has some RB issues. He's a little thin in that position. He's making trades, moving some players around. Is it going to be enough? I have no clue. And then on Frog's team, guess what? CMC gets hurt. He's having the same problem, right? These is draft pick number 1 and draft pick number 2. These guys were supposed to go after each other with Saquon and CMC. Did it happen? No, it didn't. They're both slotted in the bench spot. So now they're both hustling to see what's going on and see who can get the win. Now, when you look at this matchup top down and you see positional rankings, I look at it and I see it and I give a check mark to Frog. Give a check mark to Frog. All the way down, I'm giving check marks to Frog, right? So I like Frog's team in this one. Frog takes down Rob's team in pretty convincing fashion. Actually, it's going to be pretty close, but anyway, Frog wins this one. That's a pick. Take it. And in my matchup of the week, you have the Lynchburg Lynx versus Make America Gronk again. Right? This is the matchup of the week, baby. Get excited. Get excited for it. Here we go. Jason's team has a lot of upside to it. He's had a cupcake schedule, but his team is actually pretty decent. So he's got a real fight this week. Mark's team, he's got a higher ceiling. All right? So although this game is going to be really close and it's going to be a high-scoring affair, I like Mark's team in this one. I like Rodgers. I like Mixon. I like Hopkins. And I like Diggs. That's a lot of firepower. Then you look at Jason's power players. You got Brady, Cohen, Allen, Robinson. You know, I think he's got enough pedestrian players on his team that it's just not going to be enough to take down your number 2 team in the league right now. I like Mark in this one. In our matchup of the week, he's going to drop in some major points. Jason gets an L, sits mid-table. So those are my week 3 preview and picks. Again, I like Sensimon. I like myself, Rocky's Red Rocket, greatest of all time. Cookies, Hans, Frog, Make America Gronk again. Those are your winners. Put in your picks, $30 on the line. All right, guys, let's get into our 6 Degrees League Cup, and I'm excited about this. Welcome back to 2 matchups a week. You asked for it, I asked for it, and I just opposed it to you. Anyway, you were divided up into 2 groups. We got Group A and Group B. What I did was I took your current rankings, gave you a number, and I did random number generator, all right? And that puts you in your groups. I did the ABBA system. Group A, Group B, Group B, Group A, Group A, Group B, Group B, Group A. That's how I assigned you to your group, so here you go. In Group A, you have Show Me Your TDs. You got Greatest of All Times. You got Lynchburg Lynx, The Great Chili Cook-Off, Saved by the Bell, Miles Ahead of You, and Team Momo Sherry. That is your Group A. And now looking at Group B, you got Sensimon, you got Lemon Cookie, you got Team Frog, you got Han Jolo, you got Women Do It Better, Make America Gronk Again, and rounding out Group B, you got Rocky's Red Rocket. This is how it's going to work out. Everybody plays each other once in your groups, and you got a 1-week bye. There's not an amount of people in our group, so not everybody gets to play each other each week. That'll take us through Week 9. Week 10 is a bye week for everybody. For the teams that advance, top 4 teams in your group advance to the quarterfinals, which will be happening in Week 11. That's going to be a 1-week matchup. Week 12, you have our semifinal matchup. And then Week 13, you have the finals. And that should carry us through the regular season of our 6 Degrees League. So, looking at Week 1, I'll post it right here. Show Me Your TDs, you gotta buy. Greatest of All Time and Team Momo, they'll be matched up against each other. Lynchburg Lynx and Miles Ahead of You matched up against each other. The Great Chili Cook-Off and Saved by the Bell, you are matched up together. That is Group A. Group B, Sensimon, you gotta buy. Lemon Cookie, you're going against Rocky's Red Rocket. Team Frog, you're going against Make America Gronk Again. And Han Jolo, you'll be going against Women Do It Better. So, there's your 6 Degrees League Cup update. And we'll talk more and more about it as the weeks go on. Enjoy your matchups. All right, guys, I promised you something special at the top of the show here. Little cookie. Maybe make a couple bucks here. Anyway, we're going to pass it off to the one, the only, the Commish Kev. Number 12 on the boards. Number 1 in our hearts. All right, Kev, take it away.
Hello, League. It's your Commish Kev. I'm here with your sharp pick of the week. Chef Dog Millionaire and I have been making some money gambling on these games over the past few weeks. We thought we'd share one with you. This week, I like the New England Patriots. You've got the Las Vegas Raiders. I know they look good on Monday night, but they're coming off a short week, traveling to the East Coast, playing in the early games. They're going to be slow. Bill and Cam showed us that they can put up some points, and they're going to be ready for them. Bet on the Pats to cover 5.5 points, win some money, and then go buy yourself something nice.
Thanks, Kev. All right, guys, that is our show this week. That's our Week 3 preview. Hope you enjoyed it. A little bit longer than what we were expecting, but you know, when you got so much information, it's going to take a while to get through it all. So I appreciate Jason, Kev, getting on the pod. I might be tapping you next, whoever's watching this right now, to be on the pod this next coming week. So I look forward to that. Anyway, good luck to everybody out there. Hopefully you win your game. Unless your name is Danny, you are going to lose. And that's about it for us. So good luck. No injuries.